You're now watching Qnews, and here are the top stories for this hour. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has reiterated his rejection of Palestinian displacement with Tunisian President Kais Saied. During a phone call, the two leaders expressed their strong support for a two-state solution as a pathway to lasting peace. They discussed the ongoing situation in Gaza and endorsed Egypt's efforts for a ceasefire, as well as the Arab plan for the reconstruction of the region. Both presidents praised the growing bilateral relations between Egypt and Tunisia, emphasizing their commitment to strengthening cooperation, particularly in economic and trade sectors, and expressed their desire to explore broader collaboration. Additionally, President el-Sisi Said also discussed the situations in Libya and Syria, affirming their dedication to the stability and sovereignty of both nations. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has reaffirmed the U.S. commitment that any solution to the Gaza crisis should exclude Hamas. This statement followed his meeting with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Jeddah, where they discussed the reconstruction of Gaza. They also addressed Syria's stability, Yemen's situation, and the threat of Houthi attacks on maritime navigation. They further explored ways to strengthen U.S.-Saudi relations and regional security efforts. Hamas has affirmed its commitment to the ceasefire agreement, stating that continuing negotiations is the only way to secure the release of detainees. Hamas also called on mediators and the international community to intervene immediately to ensure the withdrawal of the Israeli occupation forces and the resumption of the second phase of negotiations. The president of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Marana Spori, had a need to maintain the ceasefire in Gaza, humanitarian aid to enter. In a statement, she highlighted that the ceasefire had saved countless lives and offered hope amidst unimaginable suffering. Any disruption of the momentum built over the past 6 weeks could lead to renewed despair, she warned. As a neutral humanitarian mediator, the ICRC remains committed to facilitating safe operations. Needs additional support to continue its work. During a press conference in Geneva, Lazzarini revealed Israel's refusal to ease the flow of people through the Kerem Abu Salim border crossing, warning of a potential food crisis in Gaza if the blockade continues. Despite the ceasefire since January 19th, Israel's aggression continues with ongoing attacks, casualties, and destruction in Gaza. The Jordanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates has strongly condemned the Israeli Ministry of Energy's decision to cut electricity to the Gaza Strip. The Jordanian Foreign Ministry called this move a blatant violation of international law, international humanitarian law, and the Fourth Geneva Convention regarding the protection of civilians during wartime. Ministry spokesman Sufyan al-Quda stressed that this move deepens Israel's policy of starvation and blockade, especially with the continued halt of humanitarian aid. He urged the international community to hold Israel accountable, ensure the full implementation of the ceasefire agreement, restore electricity to Gaza, and open humanitarian aid crossings to alleviate the ongoing crisis. The Syrian presidency has announced an agreement for the integration of the Syrian Democratic Forces into the Syrian state's institutions. Syrian interim President Ahmad al-Shara and Syrian Democratic Forces commander Mazloum Abdi signed agreement, which mandates the integration of both the civilian and military branches of the Kurdish self-administration into the Syrian state framework. The agreement stipulates that the integration should be completed by the end of this year. Syrian interim President Ahmad al-Shara has stated that what's happening in Syria will impact the country's progress, but efforts will be made to restore stability as much as possible. Al-Shara mentioned that no direct communication has occurred with the Trump administration yet, but the door for dialogue remains open. He acknowledged the challenges in maintaining security due to the ongoing U.S. sanctions and indicated discussions with Moscow regarding new terms for military bases. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has received Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the royal court. They discussed bilateral relations, the latest developments in the Ukrainian conflict, and the importance of international efforts to achieve peace in formal talks that followed the official reception. Zelensky expressed gratitude for Saudi Arabia's support, acknowledging its pivotal role in the Middle East and globally. Meanwhile, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has reiterated his country's commitment to supporting global efforts for peace in Ukraine. During a meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Jeddah, they discussed the crisis and bilateral relations. Zelensky expressed gratitude for Saudi efforts and highlighted its significant role in the Middle East and beyond. Moscow's mayor has reported that Russian air has successfully repelled Ukraine's largest drone attack on the Russian capital. The Russian Defense Ministry later stated that air defense units destroyed 337 Ukrainian drones, including 91 over Moscow. And this concludes our top stories for this hour. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates here on Qnews.